Well, hello friends. Welcome back to Kat's Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you our garden tour. I didn't have these two flower beds on the side of the garden last year. I'll show you the other one. I wanted to do this here, like a little angled flower bed to help with mowing grass. Sorry if it gets a little windy out here. It's going to rain soon. I'm going to show you here what we have. So for the walkway, I just put down cardboard and mulch. I still have to weed a little bit, weed whack. It's not a perfect system, but it's working right now. Now this is my compost pile here, and this is where we put all of our vegetable scraps, our coffee grounds, eggshells and everything. And we had a bunch of volunteer tomato plants that came up. And you can see right here that they are producing. They have a ton of flowers on them. Last week I did come in here and prune them because they were so thick and heavy. I'm not really overly concerned about these because they were volunteers. If we get anything out of them, that'll be a blessing. But if they make it, they do. If not, that's okay too, because I don't have any other room to retransplant these. But they are huge, as you can see. These are probably a good 4.5 feet tall. And here we have some cabbage. I have some purple cabbage here in the back. I have some regular green cabbage here in the front. And then here we have some bell peppers. And I'm gonna try to get a good look here for you. So here you can see we have 3 of them in there. They're being nice and happy. And here's a weed I have to pull. So sometimes I just have to come in here and pull the weeds. However, with as much mulch as we have in here, it does make it a little easier. I have another pepper plant here, but it's a little bit smaller. You can see it's just starting to put on some fruit there. I have a couple more cabbage plants here. The bugs really like to nibble at the cabbage plants. What I did for the red cabbage back here is when I pruned this, I pruned all the bottom leaves off so that the middle ones would get a little stronger, and that really helped this plant. So what I'm going to do probably next pruning time is come back and do the same with all of my cabbage plants, because it seemed to really help the center, just the center of the head start to grow. So let me know if you guys do the same thing there. I try to make sure that no leaves are touching the ground on all of my plants. And sometimes this little guy needs some help. I'm gonna have to stake him. But yeah, it's all about working with what you have and doing the best we can. Here's another pepper plant here. And this little guy is just starting to put on a little bit of a flower here. So that's gonna take a little bit of time there. Here is my red lettuce here. This is really, really beautiful. I've already harvested off of here all of my lettuce 2 times now. This is gonna be the 3rd time. This literally, I cut it down with some scissors. I usually leave about 1/3 of it, and I take 2/3 of each one. And usually within a week, I have fresh, more lettuce to cut. And here you can see that over here too. See, this is ready to harvest. I heard that there's a nice rule of thumb to leave 1/3 of your plant behind and not harvest absolutely everything off of it. That's just what I heard. So that's kind of what I do. That's what I'm experimenting with this year. Now this guy here is a big zucchini plant. Actually, I think I have 2 of them in here. This here is probably about 4.5 feet tall. I've actually harvested my first zucchini yesterday. I like to harvest my zucchinis in eggplants. I didn't grow eggplants this year, but I like to harvest them when they're probably about I'd say 6 inches long, just because if they get too long and too big and fat, they actually it changes the flavor of them. When they're smaller, about 6 inches or so, 5-6 inches, see, I think we have one down here ready to go, then they are more tender. So you can see that guy there, that's perfect. So we're just gonna grab that, give a little twist, and this is the size compared to my hand that I'm looking for. Because you want it to be tender, you don't want it to be bitter or watery. So this is what I found is the perfect size. I'm gonna put that down there and we'll grab it. Let's see if we have any more in here. Oh yeah, we do. This is really growing crazy, and I'm really blessed for that. Here's another one. And let's see what else we have. You kind of have to gently pull back the leaves and the stalks and look in between, because they like to shoot up all over the place here. And you don't want to miss one and have it go bad on you. Oh, I think there's another one in the back there. Yep, we got another one here. Let's see the size. So as you can see, we're kind of doing the same thing here. We're taking a good 2/3 of it, but there's still plenty of the plant left for harvesting. So we're not taking everything from the plant all at once. And you can, oh, little bees are out today. So you can see those little guys in there. We're gonna let those go, obviously. They're not big enough yet. And so when you harvest something, you're telling the plant, okay, this part is done. You can send energy now to the other parts of the plant that you're growing, and it'll help make them bigger. Now these are my tomato plants. I have San Marzano, I have a Roma, I have a cherry, and I had some friends give me a few other ones that I'm not sure what type they are. Now my plants here, I did make a mistake with these tomato plants. When I bought these plants, I bought all of my plants at Lowe's. I did not have time to do starts this year. I made a mistake because I accidentally let my tomato plants get too big before I caged them. And then you can see here, I tried to cage this one here. I ended up damaging it in the process, so I had to prune quite a bit off of it. It's still okay. It's still, the cage is doing its job. It's holding it up at the base. Unfortunately, the one in the back was way too big. That's why it's kind of over right now. I need to get more of these here. I have these. I only had a couple of these though at the time. I'm gonna have to go purchase some more. These little lattices, so that way I can prop up this big tomato plant. However, it's still putting on fruit. You can see here, that's a Roma. And my San Marzano are these ones here. These are really, really good for sauce making because they're not really they're not a juicy tomato. These ones are really good for sauce making. And you can see it still has a bunch of flowers on it. I'm gonna see if I can get another lattice for it today. And I need one for my pepper plant too. Because when they're this big, you can't try to stuff them into a cage. They need, like I said, I'm just gonna lean them on a lattice like I did with this one. Excuse me. And then I have another tomato plant down here that I'm not sure the type of that one. I think that's maybe a cherry. I do have a cherry back there, you can see. Now if I see any leaves like this is part of my pruning process. I just nip them off. And because I don't want the plant to continue to send energy to that part of the plant to try to keep it alive. And you can see what I did is I heavily pruned around the bottom because we don't want any of those leaves touching the ground if possible. Now this guy here is our cucumber. So this is pretty big. If I stood this straight up, this would be another 4-foot tall plant. Lots of bees on here, lots of flowers. So we're gonna hope for a good cucumber harvest this year so that we can some. And then here I have another squash plant. I think this one here is my yellow squash plant. right now I have some flowers and some buds in there, but I don't see any fruit just yet. I do have to come in here and make sure that my cucumber, oh no, there's a green squash right there. I think it might be another zucchini. I do have to come in here and make sure that my cucumber is not overtaking my plants. That's why I'm trying to make sure that they're growing a certain direction, because they will choke out your garden because they have these little curly things on there it likes to climb. So I do come in and make sure that's situated. Just have to do that every few days. Okay, so here is another zucchini plant. And this one's putting on some zucchinis there. Back here I have one watermelon. Seems to be pretty happy though. I did put it in this little cage just to kind of keep it straight, somewhere to climb. It can climb over here, and it's got a good bit of buds on it. And then these guys here are all of my cucumbers from last year. They just popped up, so that's why they're kind of close together and they're a little smaller. But they've got a lot of flowers on them, so I'm happy about that. So how these grew is they literally came up right here in the middle where this one is. They were all clumped together, and they were obviously a lot smaller at the time. So I just separated them a little bit here and just spread them around. So that's all of our little volunteer cucumbers. And then these two here are 2 tomato plants that my neighbor gave me. And so this is about the size that you want to start putting them in a cage before they get too big and courageous. I'm not sure the type of these 2 tomatoes. I do believe my neighbor grew these from seed. And then here is my strawberry plant. Now my strawberry, this is from last year, so I do have to at least give it that. It is trying its best here. I did prune it heavily last week because it just wasn't putting on any fruit. I think this is an all-season type. Let me see what it is here in the tag. That's the type there. So we'll see if that produces anything for us this year. Then on the other side of the garden here, this is the other flower that I have that I was mentioning. I put this in to have it a little bit easier for mowing, because when we come down here with the tractor, we just come right along here, and then we come in here, and then right along our fence. So that way we have to weed back a little less in here. Now I did have, I'm still learning the names of the flowers, because this is the first year I'm really planting flowers. But these ones here are doing okay. These 2 I got on clearance at Lowe's. This one's doing, it's very happy. I had a taller one here that was blue in the back. Unfortunately, it was not happy, so I had to cut it down, you know, to the nubs. And I'll probably end up having to plant something else there. I was just trying to see, give it a chance, give it a haircut and see if it was going to take off a little bit or spring back up. But no, I don't think that one's going to work out. So anyway, guys, this is the garden for 2024. And I have this little cage around it. The way we built this last year was we put our T-posts down and we bought some chicken wire. And this is a 6-foot fence. If you stretch it all the way up, it's 6 foot. And then I just got these 2 little gates here from Lowe's. It's nothing, it's not bulletproof or anything like that. It's just something to keep most of the animals out. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy this. Our little plants are looking happy. It's gonna rain here this afternoon, so that's why I wanted to get out here and show you what was going on. I gave my neighbor one of the zucchinis, so he was happy about that. But yeah, I'm gonna come in here and do a little bit of pruning. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get all of these leaves up off the ground because I want the energy to go toward the head of the cabbages, and then I'm gonna get some more of those lattices to prop up some of these plants. And I'm gonna come in here and prune Anything that's laying on the ground, I don't want that. It's okay to have the climbing ones on the ground, to my understanding, as far as your cucumbers and the watermelon is also climbing. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, friends.